What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video we are at Sioux Falls Regional Airport for the 33rd airport update for the month of November 2022. I've been super excited to do this airport update because there's a couple big announcements that I want to make in reference to various air service changes, and we have something new coming to Sioux Falls in 2023, so I'll talk more about that here later in the video. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hop right into the update because I don't want to waste any more time talking about what the big thing is until I get there. Right here at gate number 1, we have this Frontier Airbus A320neo coming in on a service from Denver. Flight 727 this time instead of the 442, 443 that they typically use, which I think the outbound flight used one of those numbers when I checked the flight schedule. All flights in this airport update are from the 1st of the month, which was a Tuesday, November 1st of 2022. So this aircraft touched down at 2:13 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 2:22 p.m. arrival. At gate number 5, we have this American Eagle Embraer 175. This aircraft arrived in on a service from Dallas-Fort Worth International, Flight 3937, operated by Envoy Air, at 10:52 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 11:02 p.m. arrival. And this is where I get to make the big announcement here for the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. For the last 30 years, we've been without American Airlines service, like mainline American. We've had American Eagle since around the early 2010s, and since then, I've kind of been wanting to see mainline American come to Sioux Falls. I've mentioned it from time to time, but not as consistent as something like Gemini Jets doing the Delta Connection Embraer 175, for example. But I found out on Monday of the week that I'm recording this on Friday the 4th of November, so I found this out on Halloween, that Sioux Falls is going to be getting American mainline service from the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. Super excited about this. So this service is expected to begin on February the 3rd of 2023. It will be a Friday when this begins, and my schedule, thankfully, will allow me to come back home to Sioux Falls and try to catch the inaugural for American Mainline. So last time that American Mainline was in Sioux Falls was around 1992, 1993, and that came from Chicago O'Hare on Fokker 100 aircraft, which for the Retro FSD project, I would like to have one of those, but they are super hard to find, very expensive on eBay, all of those details that I don't really like. I don't find them applicable, so that's a bit unfortunate that it is how it is, but I'm hoping that Gemini Jets maybe will do a re-release, or I'll just get lucky and find one on the secondhand market for a good price. But enough about the previous American Mainline service. Let's go ahead and go over some of the more applicable details in reference to the new American Mainline service. So this mainline service will be twice daily, operated on an Airbus A319, which you saw on your screen just a moment ago, and Flight 2060 will be the first flight. This will depart DFW at about 10:22 a.m. local time and arrive in Sioux Falls at about 12:35 p.m. local time. So when I initially checked this, the timing was a little bit different. It was around 12:20 p.m. And another interesting thing to note here is that there was no regional jet service. Now, I think that was the initial plan that they wanted to do, but it looks like they are going to keep the Mesa CRJ 900s on this service, so this will arrive at about 4:55 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we'll have a second mainline flight that will come in overnight. So this will depart Dallas at about 7:05 p.m. local time, and then arrive in Sioux Falls at about 9:16 p.m. local time. Now the times are probably going to change again from the next time that I look at this, so I'll try to look at this on a monthly basis, just try to see if anything significant has happened. But when I did initially see this, the times were a little bit different, and there was no regional jet service. So the Envoy service looks like it's going to be discontinued following the switch to mainline, but the Mesa service will remain. So that is just something to note here as we move into 2023. But pretty exciting for Sioux Falls. I'm really looking forward to this. I actually did tweet to one of the newspapers in town about this after I made the discovery, and later that day they actually had an article posted. They went over to the airport and asked them a couple questions about it, and they were able to confirm that information. So I'll go ahead and link that article in the description if you want to read it. Hopefully there's no sort of paywall or whatever that will block it, but I was able to access it just fine. So if you have any trouble accessing it, let me know and I'll try to troubleshoot something. But without further ado, that's pretty much everything I have for the new American Mainline service. I'm really excited for this, and I'm really looking forward to going out to the airport and catching the inaugural. It'll be our first American Mainline service in 30 years here at the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. Super excited about this, and hopefully I'll have a good time out there, even if it's just as simple as going to the airport, seeing the plane, and then departing. So that's kind of my tentative plan for that at the moment, but things could change at any point in time. But as of right now, that's what it looks like it will be like. So we're looking forward to it. So I'm going to stop talking now about the American Mainline. Let's go ahead and continue with the update. We got a pair of baby buses to round out the aircraft at the Costello terminal here at the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the United aircraft closer to the camera here. But right here at Gate 6, we have this United Airbus A319 coming in on a service from Chicago O'Hare, and it looks like all of our mainline services have now switched to Airbus aircraft. When I checked recently, they were on all A319s, but it looks like they'll have an A320 in there from time to time. So I think it's just going to be like this for at least the month of November. I'll go and pop up the passwriter.com screenshot for at least a particular week in November. Again, they could switch out another aircraft from time to time, like the 737-800 or even the 900. That's what I've seen later on in the Denver and Chicago mainline schedules when I checked those. So it looks like they'll continue to use either an Airbus aircraft or a 737. So it's one of those two that they'll use. It just, I'm guessing it probably depends on what they have available at the respective hubs and what they're willing to send, and also based on demand and some of those other factors. So that's pretty much all I have for that Chicago aircraft. But this arrived in at 10:17 a.m. ahead of a scheduled 10:36 a.m. arrival. So a bit of an interesting situation here where you don't have an overnight mainline flight, and we actually have one that arrives during the day and then departs a little bit later in the day. Parked at gate number 4, we have the Delta Airbus A319 coming in on a service from the Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, flight 2403, arriving in at 10:33 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 10:50 p.m. arrival. No big changes expected for the Delta mainline, as it looks like it's going to remain on 319s at least for the foreseeable future, and I think that's pretty applicable just because that's probably what the demand wants, or at least what the demand is requesting for Delta mainline services. So 319 seems to be a very ideal aircraft for Sioux Falls at the moment for Delta Airlines, and honestly that's just how it is, and I'm pretty cool with it. Kind of wish they would have the 717 on that Atlanta service again, and we haven't seen that in about a year now at this point. It's been a while since they've come here, but hopefully they do return at some point in the future. And that is everything we have here at the Costello terminal at the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. We'll go ahead and check out some other movements happening around the airport, and I just forgot about this, and I want to mention this here before we do transition anything else, but we do have another interesting announcement to make. So this particular announcement, this is not a new service. This is actually more of a one-off thing, actually, that will be happening next month. On December 14th, United Airlines will be sending a Boeing 737 MAX 9. Holy cow, this is a really cool event that's going to be happening here at the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. So, again, on December 14th, United will be sending a one-off 737 MAX to Sioux Falls. Yes, I do plan to catch it, but it does look like it's going to be a bit of a late-night arrival. So it will arrive at about 9:50 p.m. local time, and considering that this is December we're talking about in South Dakota, it's going to be dark, it's going to be cold, and if I try to catch the morning departure too, it's also going to be pretty dark as well. So I imagine that if I want to catch it, my best shot at it is to try and get the arrival portion of it. So while the footage I'm expecting is probably going to turn out pretty dark, I'm going to try my best to catch this, and I'm hoping that they do not switch this out for any reason to a regular 737-900. The United Airlines website said it when I checked that particular flight on that particular day, so I'm really hoping that they do not switch this out for a regular 737, because I swear to God, I'm not going to be happy about that. So hopefully it does stay like that on a 737 MAX 9 on the day of Wednesday, December 14th of 2022. So pretty interesting things. First, the American mainline starting in February, and also this United MAX 9 appearance coming in on December the 14th. And alright, now let's move on over to some of the other aircraft that are moving around the airport here. We've got some other applicable stuff happening, and we'll go ahead and take a look at this first aircraft. And yes, you can tell it's an Embraer 175, but with the different winglets. So this aircraft's going to be heading out to Minneapolis on flight 3678. And this departed at 8:12 a.m., a bit behind an 8 a.m. scheduled departure time, so that's about a 12-minute delay for this aircraft, an X-Compass plane that I now believe has gone over to SkyWest. So once again, I am asking Gemini Jets to do a Delta Connection Embraer 175 with the enhanced winglets. Now, the only reason I have this here is because this is actually one with the short winglets, but we are still getting the enhanced winglet variant pretty much on a daily basis here at the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. So Gemini Jets, if you can get that announced, get that put out to the public so that we can get it, I'll be a happy man. I really want that to be done by the end of the year, because that honestly I think would be really good for Christmas sales, holiday sales, and all that if they are to announce it for a December release set, or even perhaps for a combined December-January 23 release set, kind of like what they did last year. But either way, I'm not going to talk about it too much. We'll go ahead and move on here. I know the angle was a little bit shoddy there, but we'll have a bit of a better angle on this aircraft here, a United CRJ-550, making another return to the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. This aircraft's going to be heading out to Chicago O'Hare today on flight 4384. This is a GoJet-operated flight. This departed at 6:29 p.m., had to be scheduled 6:30 p.m. departure time. Our last passenger aircraft that we'll be taking a look at here in the Sioux Falls Regional Airport update for November, we have this American Eagle CRJ-700. That's going to be heading out to Phoenix today on Flight 3062, a SkyWest operated flight. Departed at 3:12 p.m., delayed from a 2:36 p.m. scheduled departure time, so about 36 minutes or so of a delay for this particular flight, so not sure what happened here with this flight, but we do have that delay nonetheless for this particular flight. Now the Phoenix service is going to stay on the regional jet stuff. It'll be SkyWest and Mesa, kind of a mix between the two, at least for the moment. But as of right now, I'm seeing the SkyWest 700s, although the Mesa 900s are coming back again. We're actually in a Mesa house livery on the day that I'm recording this, on Friday the 4th of November, so kind of an interesting situation with that. But that looks like what it's going to be for the future for the Phoenix service, Phoenix Sky Harbor. Not sure if American Mainline is really popular for Dallas. I don't know if they will add a Phoenix service as well, but that'd be pretty interesting to see if they end up doing something like that in the future, but perhaps nothing in the short term that I would anticipate, perhaps something that would probably happen later on down the road, probably in the mid to late 2020s, which I know it seems like a long way out, but trust me, it's going to fly by. We'll probably be in 2026 before we know it. So that's kind of the fast pace that we've had with these months, especially the fact that I've been doing these weekly airport updates. It makes time go by so much faster. But anyways, as I'm taxiing out for departure, we have this UPS 757-200 freighter. Going to be heading out to Louisville tonight on Flight 571. Departed at 9:45 p.m. and have a scheduled 9:51 p.m. arrival. And then finally, to round out the update, we have this FedEx Airbus A300. This one's going to be heading out to Memphis today on Flight 1343. This is part of a UPS FedEx Duo late night departure situation that I always see on a nightly basis. So whenever I check Flight Radar at about 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'll see both these aircraft departing right at about the same time, maybe a little bit apart, depending on if one of the aircraft has an issue trying to get something loaded, or if there's like a maintenance problem or something like that. But usually these flights depart about 9:30 at 10 o'clock at night. I always check the flight tracker about that time just to kind of see those two planes take off and all that fun stuff. So this aircraft is going to be heading out to Memphis, like I said, Flight 1343. This departed at 9:48 p.m., head of a scheduled 9:59 p.m. departure time. And that will do it for the Sioux Falls Regional Airport for November. As I said, exciting times coming up for American Mainline starting in February. We'll also have the one-off United Max service in Denver happening on December 14th, which I'm going to try to see both of those. The American Mainline, I have a bit better of a shot to do it. And again, with it being February in South Dakota, it's probably going to be either really freaking cold or there's going to be 2 feet of snow on the ground. So it really just depends on what Mother Nature feels like doing at about the time that American Mainline inaugural happens. So again, I'll be sure to watch the weather, especially as we get within like the week or so of the inaugural happening, because again, I can't tell what the weather's going to be. Nobody is going to know what the weather will be like on February 3rd of 2023. I think that's pretty easy to say nonetheless, but hopefully the weather is good and at least suitable for the winter time here in South Dakota. But that's pretty much everything I have. So we're looking forward to the future of the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. Happy to see American Mainline, all the other applicable details. Hopefully we get Breeze Airways at some point. I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen, but I think Breeze would be a really good candidate for a brand new airline here in Sioux Falls. So perhaps this American Mainline service, this could potentially inspire Breeze to come to Sioux Falls, but that's a very far-fetched idea at this point, so I don't know. With that being said, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.